Hello students, welcome to NCERT Class 8 Civics. The name of the book is Social and Political Life. This is the first chapter of this book, the Indian Constitution. So what is Constitution? Why we need a Constitution? Before going into details, let's start with the football game. According to the rule of football, if the ball touches the arm of any player except the goalkeeper, then this is considered a foul. So if the players start holding the football in their hand and passing it around, then they are not playing football anymore. Similarly, other games such as hockey or cricket also have rules according to which they are played. Each of these rules helps define the game and helps us distinguish one game from the another. As these are the fundamental to the game, we can also call them a constitutive rules of the game or essential rules of the game. Like these games, a society also has constitutive rules that makes it different, that makes it what it is and differentiate it from other kind of societies. In large society in which different communities of people live together, these rules are formulated through consensus. And in modern countries or nation, these consensus is usually available in written form. A written document in which we find such rules is called constitution. So why does this is the actually first topic of this chapter. Why does a country need a constitution? Here highlighted lines refers that all democratic nations have constitutions, but it is not necessary that all nations with a constitution are democratic. The constitutions demarcate that what is right and what is wrong. Constitution tells or helps us to understand what we should do and what are the things we must follow. In 1934 in India, the Indian National Congress made a demand for Constituent Assembly. Later on, Constituent Assembly was formed and the Constitution for India was framed between December 1946 to November 1949. It was accepted on 26 November 1949 and later on in the next year on 26 January 1950 it was implemented. Our Indian Constitution came into effect on 26 January 1950. The reason? Because in 1929 on this day Indian National Congress demanded the Purna Swaraj in Lahore session under Jawaharlal Nehru. So the Indian Constitution is the longest constitution of the world, having 395 articles. This slide represents the Constituent Assembly addressed by the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Now what is Constitution? The next topic is the Constitution. The Constitution is a set of rules and principles in which a country or state is governed. Actually, it is a set of rules and principles agreed by all the people of a country. The Constitution serves several purposes. So these are: first is the Constitution lays out certain ideals that form the basis of the kind of country that we as a citizen aspire to live. The Constitution lays rules to guard against the misuse of power by our political leaders. This storyboard represents that in a class there are numerous students. One of the students is asked by the teachers to become monitor of class, and here monitors randomly blames any other students in the class for not obeying and complain the teacher, and that students without doing gets punishment from the teacher. So in this way class monitor is misusing his power. So political leaders can also misuse the powers, but Constitution prevent such kind of things. The Constitution also guarantees right to equality to all citizens of the country, as there is provision in Indian Constitution. In fundamental rights, we have the right to equality under Article 14 to 18, that there will be no discrimination based on the caste, gender, creed, and place of birth. law is equally available to all. So these kind of provisions have been made in Indian constitutions. Constitutions also keep check when the dominant group is using power against the less powerful group. Let's see. So this storyboard refers that here class is divided into two groups, one group having the maximum number and another having the less number of students. So all the decisions always go in favor of this group, which is in you can say dominant position, because number of students are maximum here. When the teachers decide to settle the problem with a show of hands, always decisions go in their favor. So constitutions prevent or keep check when the dominant group is using power against the less powerful group. Constitution protect minorities and their rights. For example, in case of India, the Hindus are in majority and there are certain groups which are in minority. For example, Sikh, Jain, Buddhist, Christian and so on. So constitution protect their rights by making various provision. Now another reason why we have a constitution is precisely to prevent the tyranny or domination by the majority. For example, there is inter-community dominations or community intra-community domination. So constitutions prevent such kind of dominations. Inter-community domination means when one community dominating the others. Intra-community domination means when the member of one community dominating the others within the same communities. So it is within the same communities. Next is the constitution protects us from taking decisions that could adversely affect the society as a whole. Another is a good constitution does not allow to change its basic structure, and it does not allow of the easy overthrow of provisions that guarantees the right of citizens and protect their freedom. Now this is the case study of Nepal. Nepal lie north of the India. The country of Nepal has witnessed several people struggle for democracy. There was people struggle in 1990s that established democracy that lasted for 12 years until 2002. The previous constitution of Nepal, which had been adopted in 1990s, reflected the fact that the final authority rested with the king. A people movement in Nepal started and they fought for several decades to establish democracy, and in 2006 they finally succeeded in putting an end to the power of King Gyanendra. Now the peoples have to write a new constitution to establish Nepal a democracy. The reason that they do not want to continue with the previous constitutions because it does not reflect the ideals of the countries that they want to be Nepal. So that's why they establish democracy and replace monarchy. In democracy, we choose our leaders, and these leaders exercise their power on our behalf. So we have the right to choose our representative in democracy. Now let's discuss about the key feature of Indian Constitution. So by the beginning of 20th century, the Indian national movement was started, and this movement laid the foundation of Free India, where we talk about freedom, equal opportunity, fraternity, and so on. The idea was to provide justice and to have equal participation to each and everyone. The constitution formed by the group of people, about 300 people, worked for 3 years. Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar is known as the father of or founding father of Indian Constitution. He worked for depressed section of the society and laid several provisions in the Indian constitutions, and he urged the scheduled caste to join government job. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar considered the father of Indian Constitution because he was the chairman of drafting committee. When the constitution was being written, there were several problems in India because there were different communities who spoke different languages, belonged to different religions, and had distinct cultures. India was going through considerable turmoil at that time. The partition of the country into India and Pakistan was imminent. So these were the problem in front of the member of Constituent Assembly. Now first feature of Indian Constitution is federalism. The federalism, this refers to the existence of more than one level of government. In the country, in India, we have governments at the center, state level, and at the local level there is Panchayati Raj. So state in India enjoy autonomy in exercising power on certain issues subject of the national concerns require that all of these states follow the law of the central government. So there is provision of various subject in various lists. These are given in our constitution. These are union list, state list, and concurrent list. Next feature of Indian Constitution is parliamentary form of government. So in parliamentary form of government, we have universal adult suffrage, means we can elect our representative. People have the freedom to elect their representative and they can contest election. So these representatives are accountable to the people. The next feature of Indian Constitution is separation of powers. According to the constitutions, there are three organs of the states. These are legislature, executive, and the judiciary. The legislature refers to our elected representative. At state level, we have Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, Legislative Council or Legislative Assembly at center. In center, we have Parliament. So the executive is a smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing the law and running the government. The judiciary refers to the system of court. There is Supreme Court, High Court at state level, and subordinate court or district court at district level. Next feature of Indian Constitution is provision of fundamental rights. So fundamental rights protect the citizens against the arbitrary and absolute exercise of power by the state. The Constitution thus guarantees the right of individual against the state as well as against the other individuals. So there are 6 fundamental rights which are enshrined in our Constitution. These are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right, right to constitutional remedies. The first is right to equality. Under right to equality, there is a provision of equality before the law, prohibition of the discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, and there is equal opportunities for the citizens of India in matter of public employments, and there is abolition of untouchability. If any person try to promote such kind of activities, there is provision of punishment and it is offense by law. So article 17 state there is abolition of untouchability. So abolition. Next is abolition of titles. So titles are abolished by the Constitution of India, and fundamental rights here state that there will be no titles given by the state or central government. But here one thing is important to note that Bharat Ratna, Padam Bhushan, Padam Vibhushan, Padma Shri and other state awards are not regarded as the title in terms of Article 18(1) of the Constitution. Next is right to freedom. So people have the freedom. Here there is protection of certain rights regarding the freedom of speech, freedom to assemble or freedom to make union, freedom of movement, freedom of residence and settlements, freedom of profession and occupation under Article 19. Another 20 state here that there is protection in respect of the conviction of offense. Next is protection of life and personal liberties, right to education and protection against the arrest and detention. So these are related with the right to freedom. Next is right against exploitation. So these are given under Article 23 and 24 of the Constitution. So there is prohibition of the traffic in human being and forced labor. Traffic in human being means human being cannot be sold like commodity in the market. So it is prohibited. There is prohibition of child labor. So no child below the age of 14 can be employed in any factory or mine or any other hazardous employment. Next is right to freedom of religion. So people have freedom of religion, freedom of conscience. Uh, Under Article 25 there is freedom of conscience and free profession and practice and propagate of religion, freedom to manage their religious affairs. People have freedom to payment of taxes and promotion of any particular religions. People have freedom as to attend religious worship or religious worship in certain educational institutions. So these are the rights which are related with the freedom of religion. Next is cultural and educational rights. These deals with the minorities. So people have the freedom to protect. So there is provision of protection of interest of minorities under Article 29. Because any section of citizens residing in the territory of India or in any part of thereof having a distinct language, script or cultures of its own shall have the right to conserve. Next is right of minority to establish and administer educational institutions. So all this is about cultural and educational right. Next is right to constitutional remedies. So this is very important right of Indian citizens. So this allows the citizens to move to the court if they believe that any of their fundamental rights have been violated by the state. So they can move to the Supreme Court under Article 32 and High Court under Article 226 of the Constitution. So Supreme Court and High Court have the power to issue various in favor of the citizens' right. So in addition to fundamental rights, there is provision of directive principle of state policy. So fundamental rights are given in the part 3 of Indian constitutions and directive principle of state policies are given part 4 of the Indian constitutions from article 36 to 51. So these are the actually guidelines to the governments when the government is making any kind of rules or formulating policies. So government have to take into consideration these directive principle of state policies. Last feature of Indian constitution is secularism. Secularism here refers that a secular state is one in which the state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. So with this we have come to an end of this chapter. Thank you and have a good day.